Hello, everybody. This is going to be a quick demo on how to use the Mosaic API to build your L Systems extension. Just to be clear, this Mosaic API was inspired by the Racket image library. Racket is a programming language that is very different from Java. It's based on Lisp, into Scheme, into Racket, and it has this fantastic image library, which makes building things like the Sierpinski's triangle, the Sierpinski's carpet, and the Cantor set much more approachable and much more focused on the recursion and less on fighting your drawing library. So hopefully this will work out. We're going to call the Sierpinski's triangle the gasket, just to sort of distinguish between when you're drawing a triangle versus the gasket. So with that, let's sort of dig into the code here. So if you've cloned your extension batch 2 repo, you should see a package in here for each of the extensions, including L system, which has the gasket, the carpet, and the stool. And so we're going to use this Mosaic library, which has a bonus, which we built for you for this assignment. It has some demos in here. And so really quickly, the above demo, we're going to show centered whatever stacked ellipses, returns in the window, and this 0.9 says, take up that much of the screen. So there's a little bit of padding. So if I run this, you see that I have these 3 ellipses stacked on top of each other. There are different X radiuses and Y radiuses. They have different colors. They look a little bit like stacked rocks, and there's a little bit of padding around them. The side demo puts them sort of left to right, if you will, with different things. And that's sort of the same thing. One last quick demo is going to be the overlay. And this is, you don't have to just put them on top of each other or left to right. You can sort of stack them on top of each other. This shouldn't come into play in your L system. You shouldn't have to use overlay. You can if you want. We used it to build this block so that you can build your Cantor stool out of it. So you can see a use of that here, but I don't expect you'll need them for these two or what you write for Cantor stool. So let's, I have provided this forest demo here. Let's build it live right now. And I'm gonna maybe make a new function instead of having the full thing there. Let's build a private static method. It's going to return a mosaic, and we'll call it tree. And let's start this off with perhaps the simplest tree I can imagine, which is an equilateral triangle. A filled equilateral triangle, let's say that that's 1 across. One of the nice things about how this works now is it just takes whatever size of mosaic that you build and just centers it. So you don't have to worry about too much about the size as long as they're consistent. So by that, I mean, this is going to be a black equilateral triangle. We defined a few, I believe I make ocean green, one of the public static final variables that's a color for you to use in there. And we can call these methods directly because I imported static, everything that was in Mosaics, and it has some colors at the top and a bunch of methods for us to use. And so let's say we didn't want to just make, I like the minimalism of this being a tree, but let's say we want to add a small trunk down here. We could say, well, let's do above, have the filled equilateral triangle above a filled rectangle. And since we need to make this the right size relative to the, oh, that was formatted. Let me unformat a little, just so we can see maybe the structure a little bit here. This is going to make a black filled rectangle below it. Let's say we wanted to make it bamboo colored. All the pandas happy, bamboo. And so that's our tree, right? If I wanted to make a row of trees, say return beside other, tree, tree. I'll put 3 trees beside each other. You can see Eclipse is already sort of showing you this warning that's never called. That's, you know, by making it private, it knows like, hey, no one's ever calling this. That's because I still am calling tree down here. So if I put tree in there and run it, I can see bam, 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 they're right next to each other. If I want to add one more method here, that is to be a forest, I could simply put row trees, row trees, row trees. That would put 9 across from each other. Let me just run this just to show it's wrong. This will put 9 in a row, right? Which is fine. But let's say I wanted to do them above each other. Then I can get this nice 3 by 3 grid of them. And with that, let me just show you one more thing. If I wanted to, you don't have to just keep calling the methods inside of here. If you ever want to grab something into a variable, you could be like mosaic row equals this row of trees. And then I can just write, you know, row your boat, row your trees that way. And that works just as well and perfectly fine. With that, I'm going to shoot another video. I feel like split it up a little, where I build a recursive version of something that that shows off Mosaic that will help with building your L systems extension. But hopefully this will get you going, and you'll be off and running on a great extension.